Welcome back to our channel for another deep dive into the glamorous, cutthroat world of Los Angeles fashion. Today is a beautiful day to unpack the latest daytime drama, as shifting tides of power threaten to sweep away everything we know. Let us explore the explosive events awaiting us. The atmosphere at Forrester Creations has been thick with unresolved tension, a simmering cauldron of resentment, ambition, and legacy-defining power struggles that have threatened to tear the very fabric of the legendary fashion house apart. For months, the corridors of this iconic building have echoed with the silent footsteps of marginalized talent and the booming declarations of absolute authority. At the absolute epicenter of this corporate earthquake stands Hope Logan Spencer, a woman who has dedicated her life, her creative soul, and her boundless energy to building the hope for the future brand. Yet, despite her unwavering loyalty and undeniable success, she has found herself continually pushed to the periphery, treated not as a foundational pillar of the company, but as an expendable nuisance. The May 22nd episode promises to be a monumental turning point, a spectacular collision of immovable objects and unstoppable forces that will forever alter the landscape of Los Angeles fashion. Hope has finally reached the absolute limits of her endurance. The psychological toll of being perpetually sidelined by Steffy Forrester Finnegan has chipped away at her spirit, but it has also forged a new, unbreakable resolve within her. Hope is no longer the passive, accommodating woman willing to wait for scraps from the executive table. She marches into the co-CEO office with a singular, unyielding purpose. She demands a definitive, concrete relaunch date for her stalled fashion line. She is not asking for a favor. She is demanding the respect and the resources that her brand has rightfully earned. The imagery of this confrontation is stark and powerful. Hope, representing the progressive, youth-driven future of fashion, stands before Steffy, the self-appointed guardian of the traditional, exclusive Forrester couture legacy. Hope's eyes are blazing with a fire that has been stoked by weeks of condescension, and she is prepared to force an answer, one way or another. Steffy Forrester Finnegan, entrenched behind the massive executive desk that serves as her fortress, reacts with the predictable arrogance of a monarch challenged by a subordinate. To Steffy, Hope's demand is not just an administrative annoyance. It is an act of profound insubordination. Steffy has grown incredibly comfortable in her absolute authority, utilizing the prioritization of Eric Forster's couture line as an impenetrable shield to justify her systematic dismantling of Hope for the future. When Hope presses for a specific date, Steffy's response is dripping with dismissive condescension. She refuses to offer a timeline, vaguely suggesting that Hope simply needs to be patient, that the timing is just not right, and that the company's resources must remain focused on the high-end market. Steffy's refusal is not born of logistical necessity, but of a deep-seated desire to maintain control and to keep her longtime rival firmly subjugated beneath her heel. The verbal sparring between these two legacy titans quickly escalates from a tense business negotiation into a deeply personal, venomous battle of wills. Steffy, feeling the heat of Hope's relentless questioning, decides to weaponize the past to put Hope in her place. Drawing on the bitter historical feud between the Forrester and Logan families, Steffy coldly reminds Hope of the recent corporate instability, specifically pointing to the attempted corporate coup orchestrated alongside Carter Walton. Steffy paints Hope as an ungrateful opportunist, audaciously suggesting that Hope should consider herself incredibly lucky to even have a desk in the building after such a brazen display of disloyalty. This calculated insult is designed to shame Hope into submission, to remind her that in Steffy's eyes, a Logan will always be a guest in the Forrester mansion, serving strictly at the pleasure of the Forrester family. Steffy mocks Hope's ambition, essentially daring her to find success anywhere else without the Forrester name backing her. However, Steffy's cruel, mocking strategy catastrophically backfires. Instead of breaking Hope's spirit, Steffy's words act as the final catalyst that shatters the illusion Hope has been clinging to for years. In that precise, suspended moment, Hope experiences a profound psychological clarity. She realizes with absolute certainty that patience is merely a tool Steffy uses to keep her paralyzed. She understands that Steffy will never voluntarily share the spotlight, will never genuinely support Hope for the future, and will always view her through a lens of bitter rivalry rather than professional partnership. The toxic cycle of seeking validation from a woman who is fundamentally committed to her failure suddenly becomes glaringly obvious. Hope's internal paradigm shifts completely. She is no longer a victim of Steffy's tyranny, but a woman realizing she holds the power to walk away from her own cage. With a sense of calm that is far more terrifying than any screaming match, Hope makes the ultimate paradigm-shifting career decision. She looks Steffy directly in the eye, absorbing the full weight of the condescension and the mockery, and she officially resigns from Forrester Creations. The words hang in the air, heavy and irrevocable. This is not a bluff, not a negotiation tactic, but a definitive severing of ties. Steffy is completely and utterly blindsided. For all her arrogance, Steffy never truly believed that Hope would walk away from the prestige, the history, and the massive infrastructure of the Forrester Empire. The shock on Steffy's face is a testament to her own hubris. She pushed her rival to the absolute brink, fully expecting Hope to bow her head and retreat, only to find that she has accidentally liberated the very woman she sought to control. Hope's explosive departure immediately sends shockwaves outward, directly validating the relentless campaign waged by Liam Spencer. Liam has been the fiercest advocate for Hope's defection, delivering impassioned, emotionally charged speeches urging his wife to recognize her own worth and to abandon the toxic wasteland that Forrester Creations has become for her. He has watched her come home in tears too many times, frustrated by the relentless Forrester machine. When Hope inevitably runs to Liam with the news of her resignation, he will undoubtedly view it as a massive, long overdue victory. Liam will immediately pivot to encouraging Hope to formally accept the lucrative, creatively liberating offer from Katie Logan Spencer. The prospect of Hope bringing her visionary talent, her dedicated demographic, and her immense star power to the burgeoning Logan fashion house is a strategic nightmare for Forrester Creations, but a monumental triumph for the Logan family. The fallout of Hope's resignation will be particularly devastating for Ridge Forrester, who is about to find himself trapped in a nightmare of his own making. Ridge, ever the conflict-avoidant patriarch, has desperately tried to play both sides, offering empty platitudes to keep the peace. He specifically promised his wife, Brooke Logan Forrester, that Hope would always have a secure, respected home at Forrester Creations. Now, that promise has been violently broken by his own daughter's uncompromising arrogance. Ridge's failure to rein in Steffy's worst impulses, his refusal to establish equitable leadership, and his chronic inability to handle the pressure of family warfare will blow up spectacularly in his face. As the stress mounts and the reality of losing a key demographic anchor sets in, Ridge's characteristic irritability will undoubtedly spike, leading to severe friction within the executive suite. Brooke Logan Forrester will also be forced to confront the catastrophic consequences of this corporate implosion. Recently, Brooke made a shocking, hypocritical pivot, abandoning her crusade for the co-CEO seat and sending Steffy a diplomatic text message to preserve her own romantic security with Ridge. This profound betrayal deeply wounded Hope, leaving her feeling isolated and abandoned by her greatest champion. Now, with Hope officially severing ties with the company Brooke has spent decades fighting to control, Brooke must face the bitter reality that her attempts to play corporate peacemaker have cost her daughter her legacy. The dynamic between Brooke and Katie will also intensify, as Brooke watches her sister potentially inherit the brilliant designer that Forrester Creations so carelessly discarded. While the executive offices of Forrester Creations are consumed by this fierce, legacy-altering warfare, a completely different, yet equally compelling emotional drama is unfolding among the younger generation. The atmosphere shifts from the cold, calculating world of corporate fashion to the tender, vulnerable, and deeply complicated landscape of young love. While Spencer and Electra Forrester have been navigating a treacherous path, their relationship fractured by external manipulations, deep-seated insecurities, and the lingering trauma of past abuses. Yet, the May 22nd episode promises a beautiful, necessary reprieve from the surrounding darkness, focusing on the healing power of genuine affection and the courage required to offer a second chance. While Spencer has spent the recent weeks trapped in an agonizing state of emotional limbo, acutely aware of the precious connection he almost lost. The relentless, manipulative interference from R.J. Forrester, combined with the shocking, remorseless scheming of Ivy Forrester, had successfully driven a massive wedge between him and Electra. However, Will is not a man who easily surrenders the people he loves. Stripping away the characteristic Spencer arrogance and the defensive walls he has built, Will realizes that the only way to repair the damage is through absolute, unfiltered vulnerability. He understands that Electra does not need a corporate warrior or a smooth-talking heir. She needs a safe harbor, a partner who truly sees her pain and is willing to stand beside her through the storm. Driven by this profound realization, Will orchestrates a deeply heartfelt, incredibly sweet gesture designed solely to communicate the depth of his devotion to Electra. This is not a grand, empty display of wealth, but an intimate, emotionally resonant plea for a second chance. Will lays his heart completely bare, looking past the chaos of their recent history to reaffirm the pure, undeniable connection that initially drew them together. He acknowledges his own missteps, validates the pain she has endured, and offers his unwavering support. His words are a soothing balm to Electra's battered spirit, a promise that he is committed to fighting for their future, not against her past. He makes it abundantly clear that he is willing to put in the hard work required to rebuild their shattered trust. For Electra Forrester, this gesture arrives at a critical juncture. She has been carrying the immense, suffocating weight of her trauma, particularly the terrifying realization that her abuser, Remy Price, is lurking in Los Angeles. Furthermore, the shocking revelation that her newly mended friend, Melissa Dillon, is secretly related to Remy has added layers of complex betrayal and fear to her daily existence. Yet, in the face of Will's genuine, loving vulnerability, Electra finds the incredible strength to open her heart once more. She recognizes the sincerity in his eyes and the safety in his embrace. Making a choice that requires immense emotional maturity, Electra accepts his heartfelt plea, agreeing to give their romance a second chance. She realizes that pushing Will away out of fear will only isolate her further, and that his love is a vital source of strength. This romantic reunion is made even more poignant by the united front Will and Electra immediately establish regarding the Melissa Dillon situation. Electra, demonstrating profound grace, has chosen to forgive Dillon, recognizing that one cannot control their bloodline and valuing Dillon's fierce, proven loyalty over her unfortunate familial connection to Remy. Will, prioritizing Electra's emotional well-being above all else, fully supports this mature decision, standing firmly by her side as they prepare to face whatever dark challenges Remy Price might throw their way. Their reconciliation is a testament to the resilience of love in the face of overwhelming adversity, proving that genuine connection can withstand even the most deliberate sabotage. As the dust settles on this explosive day in Los Angeles, the landscape of the fashion world and the families that run it is irrevocably transformed. Hope Logan Spencer's bold, liberating resignation marks the end of an era at Forrester Creations and the thrilling beginning of a new chapter, likely empowering the rising Logan fashion empire to unprecedented heights. Steffy Forrester Finnegan is left to survey a kingdom that she has forcefully conquered, only to realize that her absolute rule has alienated the very talent she needed to sustain it. Ridge Forrester faces a marital and corporate nightmare that his passivity can no longer contain, as the promises he made to Brooke crumble to dust. Meanwhile, amidst the ruins of corporate ambition, the tender, rekindled romance between Will Spencer and Electra Forrester serves as a beautiful reminder that even in a world defined by cutthroat ambition and bitter rivalries, the human heart's capacity for forgiveness, vulnerability, and enduring love remains the most powerful force of all.